Welcome to Watch and Learn. Have you ever wondered how to quilt a continuous design on your quilt without ever having to cut your thread? We're going to answer that question today. I'm Kim Sandberg and
I'm Kristina Whitney.
We're both studio educators here at Handi Quilter, and we are continuing on with the amazing Blues Quilt. Love this quilt. So Kristina, I love what we're going to talk about today, because I think this is something that we often don't think about, but it makes quilting a much more enjoyable experience.
Exactly. I don't know how many times I've started quilting something and I get like halfway through, I'm like, why did I do it that way? I'm overstitching a ton, or I'm breaking my threads. If I had taken the time ahead of time to figure out a better pathway, it would have saved time in the long run, and my quilting would have looked better.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's jump over here.
Okay.
If you look in this little section right here, I did what we call continuous curve, and we're going to go into continuous curve a little bit more in another episode.
Yeah.
But just being able to figure out my pathway so that I'm able to stitch out this entire thing all the way down and then come back up, you know, just working in my throat space. How many times did I have to change my thread or pull up my bobbin?
Not once.
Just where I started and stopped.
Yeah.
Whereas if I did one square, I would have had to stop, tie off, go to the next square. One square, tie off. So that's kind of the concept that we're going to be talking about today, is finding that pathway so that we are working efficiently.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, so we're going to be working in this block here. This is another one of those blocks that I was just like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I wanted something that I could stitch out continuously, but with the way it's set up, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
So I came up with an idea, and I'm actually going to bring this picture over.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
So I even draw stuff out, chicken scratch and all. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I've got our handy pencil here, and I'm just going to draw on it so that you can see my stitch path.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if I can remember my stitch path. So I'm just doing loops.
Okay.
And coming up to the point. From the point, I'm going to loop around, and this one's actually going to come back to that same point because I don't really have a second point.
Yeah.
And then in this one, I'm going to loop around. You can't really see in that light fabric. Coming up, down, and up.
Okay.
Down, and up. And see how I can just do that loop action? And I'm just going to go as far as I can without my machine hitting the bar.
Right.
When I get to a point where I need to stop, I'll stop with the needle in the down position, advance my fabric, and then continue on.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm going to see how far I can actually go without hitting the bar.
Do a little test
So
there.
I'm not going to be able to do that one,
Okay.
which means I can't do that one either because it is after.
Okay.
So I want to stop when I get to this point here.
Okay.
And I'm going to draw a circle there so you can remind me to stop.
Okay.
Okay? So, should we quilt it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to bring it over here.
And I see that you've got your microfoot on so that you can see exactly where you're stitching. You can hit those points, right?
That's the goal.
Okay.
And also so our viewers can see a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that was a comment that we received. We love getting comments, and we try to make our videos better every time. Okay, so I'm going to stitch around, making a loop, and coming back up, stitching around, and back up. And I'm just trying to fill in that space. I'm not working on making the loops the exact same size. I'm just using what I've got available.
All right, and this is going to be your stop, right?
Yep, stop
Okay.
with that needle down.
Perfect. So that is so cool seeing that. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here a little bit. How you ended up with coming out of both of the corners. It looks really good.
Yep. So a lot of times when I'm doing something that has like 4 sides, usually you can do like a certain number of those sides on each block and then do a certain number coming back. Sometimes like it's 2, sometimes it's 4. It kind of just depends on the pattern. But finding out what works for that particular design.
Right.
And that whatever the piecing is.
Exactly.
So I'm going to have you, if you're available,
Yep.
pop those clamps off down there.
All right, we're going to advance
We're
the
gonna
quilt
advance this
and the
quilt.
machine. You're leaving the needle down.
Exactly.
And you don't have your gears engaged or anything. So the machine can just move and hold its positioning.
Yes, but one thing I'm looking at right now is I've got to make sure I can get the machine back to, actually that's the high point. I already
Yeah,
did
that's
that
the
one.
high point.
Okay, so I can go a little bit further.
Yep, you sure can.
I'm going to call that good there.
Yeah.
Okay, put my
does look
clamps
good.
back on.
Okay.
Make sure my poles are all good.
Yeah. I always want to make sure you got that quilt stabilized.
And I'm going to take out some of this basting stitch that was still in there from when we first started. Oh, let's see how much basting I can pull out. This oh, I broke it. I was going to say that's so satisfying.
I was just going to say, sometimes I think I almost baste quilts just so I can rip out basting stitches because
look at
it's
this
fun.
one.
Ooh, there we go. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, look at that.
So much satisfaction. It's going to
Oh
full
my
length.
gosh, look at that. Oh, look at you, look at you, look at you. Wow. Okay.
And don't do this at home, but we're throwing it on the floor.
I actually do that at home. I just run the Roomba when I get done.
I have a garbage can within reach of everywhere that I'm at on my frame.
Perfect.
So generally it makes it into one of them, not always. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the same design.
Okay.
I do have a problem though.
What?
I don't want to break my thread to bring the machine forward to see how far I can go.
Oh, right.
So I'm just going to try to remember, and I might stop right here.
Okay.
We're just going to call that good. And again, with this iron off pencil, I can just go back and iron it away.
Right.
So, okay, let's go ahead and we're going to stitch. Looping around and back. Looping around and back. You'll notice I kind of pause when I come into that point. I like to think of it as not coming in hot,
Right.
but just kind of coming in slow, getting to that exact point, and letting that machine take a couple stitches at the point. Okay.
And that's your stop
I'm going to
point.
stop. I'm going to advance one more time real
Okay.
quick.
Roll that up just a little bit.
Okay, that should be plenty of room to finish this block. Looking at my fabric, making sure I remember where I'm going. Nothing worse than restitching what you already did. So all those years of doing figure eights with my ice skating, paying off right here. I can do loops. Okay, here's the tricky one.
Yeah.
I've got just a corner here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do, let's see, let's do a loop this way and I'll come out down here. How's that?
I like
that
it.
work? Okay. Perfect. Do a little tie off. And that block is done.
Love it.
Oh,
And-
so satisfying.
didn't have to stop and pull thread up a single time throughout the entire thing, even though you advanced it twice.
Correct.
That's really great.
Isn't that so fun? Okay, I'm actually going to advance the quilt just one more time.
Okay.
Just so we can get to another block for everybody to see. Okay. Right there. Okay, we've got another section here. All of these flying geese. I had lots of different ideas of what I wanted to do with this one. Get that basting stuff out. But what it really came down to was I decided I want the geese to actually pop out more than sink in. So if I did a design in the blue, that would kind of push those down.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to my tan thread.
Okay.
And I'm going to stitch in this section around the geese to kind of press that down and allow those geese to pop out. And we've had a conversation about geese versus gooses. And, so we're going to call them triangles so we don't have to get into that whole thing again.
Flying triangles. I like it.
Yeah, flying triangles. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to just kind of do some squiggles.
Okay.
So looking at this, you know, I could do squiggles here and then come across and do squiggles here, but then I'm stuck up here.
Yeah.
So what's another path that you would do?
Work my way down the side, you know, do squiggle, squiggle, work my way all the way down the side, and then when I get to the bottom, work my way back up the other side. That's what I would do. Yep.
That's what I was going to do, but there's two options there. I could wiggle all the way down in my throat space, come across and wiggle all the way up in my throat space, break my thread, advance the fabric, do the next throat space.
Right.
Or this is a really long one also, just so you know.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I can wiggle all the way down, do what we did on the previous block where I leave the needle down, advance the fabric, keep going all the way until I get to the bottom, and then go all the way back up to the top. So I'm going to be advancing back and forth a little bit more frequently, but I won't have to break my fabric or my thread.
I really like that.
So different options there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this marker here, and I'm just going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down.
Sounds like you're leading a aerobics class.
I was going to say dance lessons.
There we go.
Now, I should have done it in a count of 8. No, just kidding. But that allows me to start out at the point and end at the point.
Right.
So I'm ready for that next one. If I had stopped like in here or out here, you know, there would have been issues. But yeah, just thinking through, and again, counting a lot of times helps with keeping yourself on the right path.
Right, and consistency, so that it all ends up looking the same too.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to show a little time-lapse video of stitching this tan part out so that we can see what it looks like.
All right, let's do it. Well, Kristina, that was really fun. Finding that path. And it definitely, you know, you mentioned your ice skating experience. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That smooth movement, right?
You don't want to go and take your skates off, jump to the other side of the rink, put your skates back on.
No.
You want it to be continuous, yes.
I really like that. Yeah. Well, hopefully we've given you some good tips today for maybe your next quilting project. So be sure to stick around. We're going to show you some of those great quilts that you have added the hashtag Handi Quilter to. Those are the ones we're looking for. So check some of these out. These are some of our favorite quilts from this week. And remember that if you would like to have your quilt featured, be sure to add that hashtag Handi Quilter, and it will pop up when we do that search and we pick our favorites for the week. Be sure to join us for the next episode with this blues quilt as we continue to find our curve. Continue and curve being the hints. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.